Dear students, in this class we will try to understand what is known as eigenfunction and eigenvalue. That is, what is known as eigenfunction and eigenvalue. So we will try to understand the definition or the meaning of eigenfunction and eigenvalue in this class. Now, eigen is basically a Greek word. It means proper. The meaning of eigen is proper. So, eigen stands for proper, means a proper function and a proper value. So, we will try to understand what is this all about. So, to understand the eigenfunctions and eigenvalues, let's go to the Schrodinger equations. Now, we have derived the time-independent Schrodinger equation. What is that? If you take the time-independent Schrodinger equation in one dimension, we have the expression d square psi by dx square plus 8 pi square m divided by s square into e minus b psi equals to 0. This is the time independent Schrodinger wave equation in one dimension, right? d square psi by dx square plus 8 pi square m by s square e minus b psi equals to 0. So what is this equation? This is basically a second order differential equation. That is d square psi by dx square. It is a second order differential equation. When we solve this equation, we get n number of solutions. Since it is being a second order differential equation, when we solve this time independent Schrodinger equation, we get n number of solutions. Not one, but we get many solutions. But all the solutions will not be what are known as proper solutions. All the solutions, I will repeat, when we solve the second order differential Schrodinger equation, we get n number of solutions, not one, we get many solutions. But all the solutions cannot be called as proper solutions. All the solutions cannot be called as proper solutions. Only few solutions are going to be the proper solutions of that Schrodinger equation. So, which solutions are going to be proper? On what basis we call them as proper solutions? So, to become a proper solution, there are certain conditions. To become a proper solution, there are certain conditions. So, what are the conditions? The condition is that, the first condition is that we say that psi has to be single value. We say that psi has to be single value. What it means? When you solve the second order differential equation, we get n number of solutions, but all the solutions will not be called as proper solutions or will not be called as eigenfunctions or proper functions. Only those functions or only those solutions will be called as eigenfunctions or proper functions which satisfy certain conditions. So, which are the conditions? The first condition is that psi has to be single value. The second condition is that psi has to be finite everywhere. The third condition is that psi and its first derivatives has to be continuous. So, these are the three important conditions. So, only those functions, only those wave functions which satisfy all these three conditions, only those wave functions which satisfy all these three conditions will be called as what are known as eigen functions or what are known as proper functions. So, if at all a wave function has to be called as an eigen function or a proper function, it has to satisfy all these three fundamental conditions. That is, psi has to be single valued, psi has to be finite, psi and its first derivatives has to be continuous everywhere. Now we will try to understand what is the meaning of these conditions. What is the meaning of these conditions? So we will go for the first one. What is that? Psi is single valued. That is, psi has to be single valued everywhere. That is, the first condition is that psi has to be single value. So this is the first condition for a wave function to be called as an eigenfunction. Psi has to be single value. We will try to understand what is the meaning of this, right? So for that, we will take a function Now, to understand the meaning of psi has to be single valued, we have taken an example here where we have a wave function. So, what is psi here? Psi is basically a wave function. What is that? It describes the status of the wave. In the same way, we have taken f of x. What is f of x? F of x is a function of x. F of x is a function of x. So, this is also a wave function like psi. So, this is also a wave function. This is also a wave function. So here we have taken an example in which the f of x is having not one, it is having more than one value. That is, if you look at this graph, f of x versus x, here we have a function like this. So if you observe at point P, this wave function has got four values. That is, a value here f1, a value here f2, a value here f3, a value here f4. Means at a single point called P, the wave function f of x is having four different values. Four different values. So what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? So what I told, f of x is a wave function, right? If it is a wave function, what the wave function gives us? The wave function tells us the status of the wave. It tells us the status of the wave at a given interval of time. So if you say f of x is having four different values at a given place called P, we are saying that the probability of finding the particle, basically what is the wave function? You know, I have told in the previous class, in quantum mechanics we talk only in terms of probability values. We talk only in terms of probability density values. What is that? The probability density will give us the probability of finding the particle at a given interval of time, right? On that basis, so if you say f of x is having four different values at a single point called P, it means that the probability of finding the particle at a single location called P is having four different values. You know what it means? By saying that the probability of finding the particle at one particular location called P is having four different values, f1, f2, f3, f4. What it means? It means to say that it's like we are saying that the probability of finding a person, if you take an example, we are saying that the probability of finding a person is having four different values at the same point of time. Means what? It means to say that we are saying that one person is present at four different locations or four different places at same point of time. Is it possible? Can you have the same person present at four different locations at the same point of time? It's highly impossible. It is highly impossible. One person can be present at only one place at a given interval of time. But what this wave function is indicating? It is indicating that the probability of finding the particle at a location called P is having four different values. Means we are saying that there are four values, or the same person is present at four different places at the same interval of time called P, which is highly impossible. Same person cannot be present at four different locations at the given interval of time. Or in other words, if the wave function is of this type, what is that? A wave function having more than one value. A wave function is having more than one value at a given interval of time. That system does not define the system properly, or such kind of systems does not exist in nature. There is no meaning for such systems. Therefore, we say psi has to be single value. Psi has to be single value. Means the wave function has to have only one value at a given interval of time. It cannot have more than one value. So if it is having more than one value, this is what it's going to be, which does not give any physical significance. You cannot find one person at four different locations, right? It is highly impossible. Means there is no meaning for that system. Therefore, we say if at all psi has to be an eigenfunction, it has to satisfy the first condition, psi has to be single value. Right? Then we have one more condition. What is that? We say that psi has to be finite everywhere. The second condition is psi has to be finite everywhere. The second condition. Psi has to be finite everywhere. Only if the psi is finite everywhere, then only it is going to be a proper function, or it is going to be an eigenfunction. So what it means, we'll try to understand this by taking an example. Now, to understand the meaning of psi has to be finite everywhere, we have taken an example. Again, f of x. What is f of x? F of x is a wave function like psi, where f of x is a function of x, right? So here we have a graph. What this graph indicates? If you look at this graph, from A to B, the graph is finite. Means for every value of x, there is a value of f of x. Similarly, from C to D, for every value of x, the graph is finite. There is a definite value. Whereas at this interval here, the wave function is infinite. The wave function is infinite at this interval at the location q. So what is the meaning of this? If we say the wave function is infinite at a certain interval called q, what it means? If suppose we say f of x is a wave function, what the wave function gives us? The wave function always tells us the probability of finding the particle, right? The wave function always tells us the status of the wave, or in other words, it gives us the probability of finding the particle. So if we say the probability of finding the particle is infinite at a certain location called q, what it means? We are saying that the probability value is infinite. The probability value is infinite at an interval of q. It means to say what? It means to say that we are almost certain about the position of the particle. We are almost certain about the position of the particle. Why? Because the probability value is reaching the infinite value. So if we say the probability value is infinite, it means that we are almost certain about the position of the particle at an interval of x, at an interval of q. If we say you are almost certain of the position of the particle at an interval of q, indirectly you are violating the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. What is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? As per Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we have delta x and delta px greater than or equal to x divided by 4 pi. As per Heisenberg's principle, we have delta x and delta px greater than or equal to x divided by 4 pi. What is delta x? The uncertainty or the error involved in the measurement of position of the particle. What is delta px? The error involved in the measurement of momentum of the particle. So the product of these two is always going to be greater than or equals to a quantity known as h divided by 4 pi. Right? Now if we say the probability of finding the particle at interval q is infinite, it means that we are almost certain about the position of the particle. Means what? If you are very certain of the position of the particle, then the value of delta x, what is delta x? The error involved in the measurement of position. If you are very much sure about the position of the particle, then the corresponding error involved in the measurement, this is going to be what? This is going to be 0. Why? Because the probability is infinite here, or we are very certain about the position of the particle. Therefore, the corresponding error involved in the position is going to be 0. once this becomes 0, 0 into delta px is going to be 0. We are saying that 0 is greater than or equals to h divided by 4 pi, which is highly impossible. Which is highly impossible. 0 can never be greater than or equals to h divided by 4 pi. Or in other words, we are violating the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So therefore we say, if at all you take a wave function, or if at all the psi is going to be infinite. What we say, psi has to be finite everywhere to become an eigenfunction. This has to be finite. If it is infinite like this, if the wave function is infinite like this, it does not give any physical meaning for the system. Such system does not exist in nature, because if it is infinite at a certain interval, then it is going to violate the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which says that 0 is greater than or equals to h over 4 pi. That is not possible. Not possible. Therefore, we say that for a wave function to be an eigenfunction, it has to be finite everywhere. Psi has to be finite everywhere. It cannot be infinite like this at a particular location. Therefore, we say it has to be finite. Only if it is finite, it gives a physical meaning for the system. So this is the second condition for a wave function to be an eigenfunction. First is psi has to be single value. The second one is psi has to be finite everywhere. There is one more condition. The third condition is that we say psi and its first derivatives. Psi and its first derivatives has to be continuous. What is that? The third condition is that psi and its first derivative has to be continuous. Psi and its first derivative has to be continuous. Means to become an eigenfunction, it has to satisfy the third condition. Psi and its first derivative has to be continuous. So what is the meaning of this? We will try to understand this by an example. It is so, to understand the meaning of psi and its first derivatives has to be continuous. We have taken here an example. What is f of x? F of x is again a wave function. F of x is a function of x, right? So f of x is just like a wave function like psi, right? So here we have taken an example in which the wave function is not continuous. Wave function is not continuous. So if it is discontinuous, we will try to understand what is the meaning of that, right? So if you observe this graph here, in this graph from P to Q, the graph is continuous. From P to Q, the graph is continuous. Means for every value of x, there is a value of f of x. Again, from R to S, the graph is continuous. For every value of x, there is a value of f of x. But in the interval from Q to R, the function is discontinuous. Means what? There is no continuity from here to here. Means what? We are saying that the f of x, which is a wave function, is discontinuous at the interval of Q to R. It is discontinuous at the interval of Q to R. So what is the meaning if we say it is discontinuous at Q to R? If suppose we say f of x is a wave function, or it is like a psi. What is a wave function? Wave function is the one which tells us the status of the wave at any given interval of time. Right? So if that is the case, now we are saying that at an interval of x to r, the status of the wave or status of the particle is not known. We are saying that at an interval of q to r, the status of the particle is not known. Why? Because there is no value here. For a value of x at this interval, there is no value for f of x here. For any value from here to here, there is a value for f of x. From here to here, there is a value for any value of x, there is a value for f of x. But in this interval, for a given value of x here, there is no value of f of x. Means what? The wave function is not defined in this interval. What it means? It means to say that the status of the particle is not known at a particular interval q to r. If we say psi is a wave function, then it has to have a particular value for at any given interval of time. Then only we can call it as a wave function. We cannot say at a certain interval the status of the particle is known, at some other interval the status of the particle is known, but in some interval in between the status of the particle is not known. You cannot say like that. If you say like that, then it is not going to be a wave function. It's not going to be a wave function. You know what it means? Example, if you say y equals to 2x, if you say y equals to 2x, what is y here? Y is a function of x. Y is a function of x. So what it means? For every value of x, it has to be a value for y. You take any value for x, there has to be a value for y. Then only we say y is a function of x. Then only this is going to be a function. Y is going to be a function of x. Because to put any value for x, it is having a value for y. Then only we call it as a wave function. Then only we call it as a function. In the same way, here at this interval, the function is not defined. The function is not defined. Or in other words, the position of the particle is not known in this interval. If that is the case, then that wave function is not going to be a proper wave function. That wave function is not going to be a proper wave function. So therefore we say this psi has to be continuous everywhere. It has to be continuous everywhere. If it is discontinuous at a particular interval, that does not define the system completely. There is no meaning for that system. Such system does not exist in nature. Therefore, it has to be continuous everywhere. Then the question is, why we say psi and its first derivative? We are saying that its first derivative also has to be continuous. Why? Because if the first derivative is not continuous, if suppose, let's say for example, the psi is not continuous. If psi is not continuous, then its first derivative is not going to be finite. If psi is not continuous, its first derivative is not going to be finite. If its first derivative is not going to be finite, then the second derivative, what is that? What is the equation? d square psi by dx square, which is basically a second order differential equation, which is second order in nature, right? So to solve a function, we need the second order wave function, right? That is second order differential equation. So therefore we say, if suppose psi is not continuous, its first derivative is not going to be finite. If the first derivative is not finite, then the second derivative is not going to be continuous. They are interrelated. If psi is not continuous, the first derivative is not going to be finite. If the first derivative is not finite, then the second derivative is not going to be continuous. Therefore, in order to have a second order differential equation, in order to solve the equation, in order to get the proper functions or the eigenfunctions, we have to have the first derivative also as continuous. Why? Because if the first derivative is continuous, then only the second derivative is going to be finite. If the first derivative is continuous, then only the second derivative is going to be finite. Therefore, we say the wave function psi and also its first derivative has to be continuous. Then only that system is going to be called as a eigenfunction or a proper function. Therefore, in total, to become an eigenfunction, So what is that? What are the conditions? Psi has to be single value, psi has to be finite everywhere, and psi its first derivative has to be continuous everywhere. Only those wave functions which satisfy all these conditions are called as eigenfunctions. Eigenfunctions are proper functions. So what is that I told so far? I said this is the second order differential equation. When we solve this equation, we get n number of solutions, but all the solutions cannot be called as proper solutions or proper functions. Only those functions which satisfy these three conditions are said to be what are known as eigenfunctions or what are known as proper functions. Then, what is eigenvalue? So this is eigenfunction, right? What is eigenvalue or proper value? Eigenvalue is nothing but the corresponding energy value. That is, if a function, if we call any function psi as an eigenfunction, corresponding to every eigenfunction, there is going to be an energy value. Means, if we solve this equation, when you find out the wave function, if you call that wave function as an eigenfunction, for every eigenfunction, there is going to be a corresponding energy value. There is going to be a corresponding energy value. That energy value we call it as eigenvalue. It may be an energy value, or it may be a momentum value, or of anything. Means, once you define a function as a wave function corresponding to every wave function, corresponding to every eigenfunction, there will be a corresponding value. There will be a corresponding value. That value may be in terms of energy value, that value may be in terms of momentum value, and so on and so forth. Right? So to become an eigenvalue, it has to satisfy one more condition. What is that condition? We say that to become an eigenvalue, it should be of the form, we say a psi is equal to lambda psi. For a wave function to become an eigenvalue, it has to satisfy the condition a psi equals to lambda psi. So what is a? A is an operator. What is psi? Psi is a wave function. What is lambda? Lambda is a constant. What is psi? Again, it is a wave function. I will repeat. Whenever you get a wave proper function or an eigenfunction, for every eigenfunction, there is going to be a corresponding value for it. It is going to be a corresponding value. That value may be in terms of energy or in terms of momentum and so on and so on. Right? So it has to satisfy the condition a psi equals to lambda psi. What it means? I said A is an operator. This may be any kind of operator. This may be an energy operator, this may be a momentum operator, or it may be a position operator, and so on and so on. If this is an energy operator, if this satisfies this condition, then the corresponding value what we get is what is known as an energy eigenvalue. If this operator is a momentum operator, then the corresponding value we get is what is known as a momentum eigenvalue. Right? So depending upon this operator, if it satisfies this condition, we call such values as what are called as eigenvalues. Now what is the meaning of this? When you take an operator, when you operate it on a wave function, we have to get the result in such a way that it should give us a constant value and it should produce the original wave function psi. Only if it is of this form, then it is going to be a proper or eigenvalue. For example, if you take a d by dx of e raised to ax, d by dx of e raised to x. What is d by dx? It's an operator, differentiation operator. Like a, it's an operator. What it tells us? It is telling us to differentiate this term with respect to x. So this is going to be an operator. So this is now the function, like psi. So this is a, this is psi. So what is the answer for this? D by dx of e raised to x is what? It's going to be differentiation of this is going to be a into e raised to x. So to differentiate this, what we get? E raised to x into a, or a into e raised to x. what we got? Answer a into e raised to x. So what is lambda here? This is a, some constant. What is this e raised to x? The same function. So same function psi, right? So d by dx of e raised to x equals to a into e raised to x. This is a, this is psi, this is lambda, this is psi. So when you operate a function by some operator, we have to get the answer in such a way that this has to give you some constant and the same wave function. And the same wave function, this may be any function, this psi may be anything. If suppose, in this case, this d by dx is an energy operator, and we get the result of this form, then that value we are going to call it as what is known as energy eigenvalue. If this operator is a momentum operator, this is a momentum operator, then that if it satisfies this condition, then we are going to call that value as what? Momentum eigenvalue. Right? So like this, you can have different operators. If they satisfy this condition, they are going to be called as eigenvalues. So in brief, eigenfunction is one which satisfies all the three conditions. Psi is a single value, psi has to be finite, psi and its first derivative has to be continuous. Only if it satisfies all these three conditions, we call that function as a eigenfunction or a proper function. And then for every proper function or every eigenfunction, there is going to be corresponding eigenvalue. What is known as the corresponding eigenvalue? So to become an eigenvalue, it has to satisfy one more condition. What is that condition? It has to be of the form a psi equals to lambda psi. That is, when you operate the given function, wave function, by an operator, it has to give you the answer in such a way that there should be some constant into the original function should be reproduced. If you have the wave function of this nature, then such wave functions or such wave functions which satisfy this condition are said to be what are called eigenvalues. So this is all about eigenfunction and eigenvalue. I think we'll stop at this point. We'll discuss some other topic in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye.